Welcome to my TikTok series on Tetris wells. Eh? You see what I did there? You see it? God, I'm hilarious. The following videos are tutorials I made about the utility of 2 wide, 3 wide, and 4 wide wells. Again, these are in a vertical format because TikTok. And yet again, I promise, no memes. And by no memes, I mean, yes, I will have some memes. Let's talk Tetris PvP a little more. In my last video, we talked about garbage management being one of the key factors in getting good at Tetris PvP. Specifically, I talked about clearing lines in combination being one of your best tools. Of course, like most things, easier said than done. In this video, I'm going to show you a tool that should help with understanding combinations, the 2 wide. It's really pretty easy, especially if you've been practicing building flat and tall, like I've been hammering in my other vids. But instead of a 9-0 build, you'll be going for the 8-0 build. That is to say, you'll be stacking up on rows 1 to 8, leaving a 2 wide empty well on the right side. What does this accomplish, you ask? Well, just look at all the tetraminos. Of all of them, only one isn't 2 block wide, which is the eyepiece. Now look at this well. Because of this, look at what happens if you drop any other piece in. You clear lines. And if you leave a little bit of stuff at the bottom of the well, you can even clear a line with an eyepiece. So what that means is that you can keep dropping pieces down this well almost willy-nilly, you gotta think a little bit, and create a decently long combo. And because you can do this, you can stall and eventually clear most garbage that's coming your way, and maybe even throw back a bit of an attack. One thing I would caution against is relying only on the 2 wide to win games. It's possible for a while, but it does eventually lose its utility, especially in mid-tier ranking 1v1. But as a novice player, practicing 2 wide can help you with your overall combo vision, so it's still worth practicing. This has been my TED Talk. Thanks for watching. We've talked about the 2 wide build. Let's talk about the 3 wide next. 2 wide as a pure combo strat does have greater utility than the 3 wide. 3 wide lets you chain longer combinations than the 2 wide, since you can also lay pieces down horizontally, but piece placement down a 3 wide well is much less intuitive, making it easier to break combo. Nonetheless, as a training exercise, I would highly recommend practicing it, as it helps with your overall combo vision. However, to my advanced players, don't sleep on the 3 wide. 3 wide actually has so much utility in generating quick T-spins. Drop a Z or S piece down a short 3 wide well, boom, T-spin donation. Hang a Z or S piece off the edge of a deep 3 wide well, boom, floating T-spin donation. Drop an L or J piece down a well, boom, STSD. Got a deep well? Floating T-spin dono into STSD, boom, Trinity. There are so many ways to take advantage of a 3 wide well, and I highly recommend you experiment and study them, or else you'll be definitely missing out. This has been my TED Talk. Thanks for watching. We've talked about the 2 wide and the 3 wide. Next up, the 4 wide. Now, even though it feels like the 4 wide shouldn't be too much different than 2 and 3 wide, since it's just increasing well width by 1 more, 4 wide is actually very, very different. The 2 and 3 wide can mostly be done freestyle in both build and piece sequence, but as soon as you hit the 4 wide, build and piece sequence become a lot more important. First up, the build. Build rule is simple. You simply need 3 garbage blocks at the bottom of the well, stacked in any pattern except the following. Next step is piece placement. Unlike the 2 and 3 wide, you have to pay very good attention to the preview in order to maintain the combo. This is because, while there are multiple options that will clear a line, there are some options that will ruin your combo if you're not careful. Let's take a look at this setup, for example. Here's our 4 wide well with the 3 blocks at the bottom. The goal of the 4 wide is to clear only a single line at a time. We also always want to keep at least 1 block against one of the walls of the well, while avoiding that same stack up the middle. Looking at this situation, the eye here is never a problem since you can always place those horizontally, so we can effectively ignore it. The S in hold doesn't work in this immediate situation to clear a line, so we ignore it until a better situation arises. Here, we can't use the Z piece, so we use the S we have instead. This combo continues in the same fashion until we either hit a point where we have no options or we get to the bottom of the well. Ultimately, all you need is a bit of RNG on your side to potentially take this combo from the very top of the board to the very bottom. So what's the advantage of the 4 wide setup? Remember how in my garbage management video, we talked about maintaining a combo to stall, remove, and potentially reflect enemy garbage? Well, yeah, imagine the power you have if you can stall for minutes at a time without even needing to hard drop. This is especially powerful in games that have a more generous combo table. Puyo Puyo Tetris. However, in games that have a more nerfed combo table, such as Tetrio, or games where you have alternate means to stall like Tetris Effect, this build is going to be less effective, though still quite good in some situations. Bracing for the comments in my TED Talk. Thanks for watching. One quick final thought to cap off this series on wells. All the videos so far have shown them working individually, which does work, but just realize they work really well together and with other builds, especially in conjunction with simple and fancy T-spin builds. In fact, the T-spins just naturally have 2 and 3 wide wells built up over top of them by default most of the time anyway. Plus, wells in general just end up forming by themselves from building naturally, which is why I say they're worth practicing, so you know what to do when that happens. This has been my TED Talk. Thanks for watching. Memes!